And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. And in certain places, good morning or good evening, no matter where you're watching us from. This is Midday Passion, since we were on the East Coast of the U.S., where it is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we get started every Thursday at. And I am Ray Chaffardini. I am your host for this afternoon, along with my co-host, Diana Gartland-Jones and Kate Saxon. And today, it's a fun hour of fun talk and enlightenment. That's the way we look at Midday Passion, because what else are you going to do in the middle of the day except sit back on the couch eating Cheetos, watching Jerry Springer and the soap operas? This gives you a way to hear about something a little bit different, open your mind up, and hopefully gives you a path to a better life and being enlightened by what we do and how we do it. So just so you get some background on me, since I'm the head honcho here, it says head rhino. I am a twice divorced father of 2 grown sons. Spent 19 years in the radio advertising sales business, selling airtime, just like Billy Crystal did in City Slickers. And after that, got into some other areas of sales and marketing with different fields. And that all came to a major crash in, March 2013. I got up one morning and I slipped my wrist. Didn't know why. And at the time, I was diagnosed as having a major depressive episode. But at the age of 46, I was diagnosed with being bipolar. Now, for some people, that may say, all right, great. But when you've lived a life that was very fast-paced and on the go all the time, primarily a drug, sex, and rock and roll type lifestyle, it changes your perception about what you were. And I've had to work my way through that. So coming back from being down so low and suicidal to coming back up, getting myself back on track and into the workforce, where I had a job for 5 years that then abruptly ended 2.5 years ago when I got laid off because the company was having financial troubles. It didn't go well looking for a new position. Because when you're over 40 and you're laid off and the world is being run now by 20-something millennials, they have no clue what a baby boomer can bring to the table. So I made it my mission to help people get out of the rat race in the 9-to-5 so they don't have to suffer the same way I did, and show them a better way to help themselves financially and personally online with a online marketing system that I found that Diana and Kate are also involved with. And we can do what we do because of what we love to do. And that's where the passion comes in. So in 6 months, I looked around, didn't find anything. So I found this online opportunity, and it's been golden ever since. So that's why we talk about the Midday Passion, because we have a passion for what we do. It's our driving force, and it keeps us going because we know there's other people out there just like us that have gone through sort of the same things, that need somebody they can hear from that says, I understand. Because so many times we think we're going through things by ourselves and that we're all alone and we're different, but we're not. With over 7 billion people out there, they say your twin is out there somewhere. Well, your twin in life experiences is definitely out there multiple times. So there's a lot of people that can relate to what we talk about, and we just want to get that word out there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Diana Gartland-Jones and let her give you her background.
Hello, how are you today?
Fine.
I have been looking forward to this all day because I have to say, last week we were talking about energy, and mine has been seriously messed up. And I found last night after our hangout that I felt so much better. So I've been looking forward to this all day. A little bit about me. I was a partner in my family business. Trying to think, it's been quite a while now. It was 2010. We went under when we came under investigation. And anyone who has been on the wrong side of federal investigators knows that that is not a good place to be. That is a really, talk about uncomfortable. That is a very, very scary position to be in. And ultimately, the scandal closed our business because we served municipalities and school boards, so politicians. And I'm not going to talk about the election. It's just coincidence that they were politicians. But, you know, it looked bad for business. So, of course, our clients were very quick to dump us. And then what happened was my dad ended up pleading guilty. He was my business partner, pleaded guilty to everything the feds threw at him to stop the investigation, to stop them, because they were threatening basically to pursue anyone he'd ever talked to, pretty much. And he was already running out of defense money. We spent over $1 million in legal fees. And actually, I think we still owe over $1 million in legal fees. And so he put a stop to it. He made a decision, and he is currently in federal prison serving an 11-year sentence. We're 4 years in next week. So you can imagine that shook up my family dynamic a little bit. It shook up my perceived position in the world. And I don't just mean financially, but, you know, people that you've known for years all of a sudden are talking to the press and saying that you're a family of criminals. Things like that. It was a very ugly time. What's that?
That sounds familiar from recently.
Yeah. Well, I still have somebody who occasionally pops up and tries to make allegations. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens again. Because, you know, I'm totally scamming you. I'm just going to be upfront here because I'm so good at it. Criminal mastermind right here.
Yes.
Anyway, so what happened was I tried a few things. I started a business. It did not work well. And I finally turned to online. See, I didn't start with an online business because I didn't think it was real. I didn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't understand how it could work. But then when I realized my bricks and mortar business wasn't working, I was like, maybe I should take another look at that. And here I am 3 years later, working from home, building a business. And, you know, you can too. And I think that's all I have of my story.
Well,
so
that
I'm
was
going to turn it over to Kate. What's that?
That was a good story.
It's all true.
I know.
No fabrication whatsoever. And don't forget, I'm a criminal mastermind.
Yes. All right, let's bring out Kate Saxon and hear about her.
Well, you guys, hello. It's so good to see you two today and your smiles. It makes me feel very happy to be part of your world, really. And I feel honored and privileged to be able to do this show with you guys and the other one that we do on Monday nights. And, you know, I used to say my background involved counseling people. That was, you know, I'm not going to go through every job I ever did because we'd be here for a long time. But my favorite thing that I did basically was counseling people for a little over 13 years. I had a small private practice in a little town here in Connecticut. And it was right by the old Essex steam train, and the choo-choo train used to go up and down every hour. It was kind of cool. And I had a great little spot. 2 offices adjoining, so a little waiting area, and then the place where I did my therapy with people. I also did massage therapy, too, at that time, which I don't usually talk about. And around the 13th year, ironic it was 13, I was a little burned out because, I don't know, I'm just one of those people in the world who wants to give, and I was seeing some clients for minimal amounts of fees, and one couple in particular, they weren't paying anything. And so they were building this amount of money that they owed me for quite a long time, and they'd pay me here and there. But I guess I was getting a little resentful that I was having financial difficulties, and my clients weren't, and that I was helping, especially them. It was always people who had less finances who needed more of my services, like going to the ER when she overdosed, going to the court and the jail when he got arrested, that kind of stuff. So when it came time, I said, look, I need to, I had squirreled away some money, excuse me. And I said, I'm going to retire from my practice. And that's when I asked this couple in particular to make their bill right, and it was almost $6,000. And she said to me, oh, no, we used to put the money under the door on Saturdays. Your cleaning lady must have taken it. Well, I said, honey, lady. But anyways, so I was burned out, and I was getting a little bitter, and I knew that I was not going to be really helpful to people at that time. I recognized it, and so I closed my practice, and I was going to go to Belize. I had, by their standards, I probably would have been rich down there. 2 weeks away from moving to Belize. It was my sort of lifelong dream. And I'm a huge proponent of people recognizing signs in life. And if you get these signs and they keep hitting you in the head, you really need to pay attention. And I had 3 big ones happen in that 2-week period. And lo and behold, I made the decision to not go to Belize. So I stayed here. I entered into a relationship with my partner now, almost 19 years. And but then I had to say, all right, so now what am I going to do? I was going to do massages on people down there at a small resort, and a couple, 4 or 5 a week would have sustained me and write the great American novel. And so I had to now say, oops, now what am I going to do for work and income? So I ended up getting into the mortgage industry, and it was extremely fruitful. And I had good money coming in. I even had a second home in Florida, a nice Lexus in the driveway, all those trappings. And then the mortgage crash of 2008. So we all know where that business went. So here I was, almost 50, needing to recreate my life again. And that's tough to do when you're almost 50. Like my buddy Ray was saying, nobody wants to hire you at 50 or almost 50. And to be honest, I didn't want to be hired, okay? I am unemployable, I feel, at this time. I'll work 20 hours in a day for me if I'm doing something that I love and that I believe in. But I can't work 20 minutes for somebody else. That's just the way it is right now. So lo and behold, I dabbled in quite a few network marketing companies, and I bought into, as they drew the circles, 3 on 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. Carol, we're going to be billionaires. And lo and behold, we weren't billionaires. But we did have success in a couple of them. One business, we had 700 people in our downline. Another one, we had over 400. But yet, I think the most we made in a given month was like $3,000. So that money and that dream, 700 people, that's all you're making? So I was disenfranchised. I was disappointed, and I was a wreck. And I was, like Ray, at a terrible, depressed time in my life. No esteem when you have that much what I perceived as failure in network marketing. I didn't want to know another company. And Carol was introduced to what we do. Kind of on the sly, she signed up for the blog and behind my back. And lo and behold, I peeked at it on a Wednesday, and I was like, this is kind of cool stuff. And then on Monday, I listened to what's called our Empower Hour and got blown away. We shortly thereafter got all in our company, and here I am. Here I am with you guys.
All right. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And today, I just want to tell you that the word of the day today is abracadabra. And whenever you hear a magician or one of those showmen go, abracadabra, something automatically appears or disappears. And today we're going to talk about making things appear. Because in the last couple of shows, we've been talking about manifestation. And I think we've all come to realize that the universe, God, this higher spirit, whatever you want to call it, always says yes. They never say no to what you want. It's us that does it, though. Mm-hmm. Because if you put out there what you want, and it's said that you can manipulate the external influences of your life as surely as you can make a baby cry by grinning at it. Whatever you put your focus on, it expands. And you can expand it out as much as you want, as long as you have the proper vibrations going on within you, that you're putting out the energy that is needed to bring in what you want. Now, you're not just going to think, all right, I want a Maserati in my driveway and it's going to show up. Or you're a 15-year-old boy that, in love with Megan Fox and she's going to be in your bed next thing. No, it doesn't work that way. But if you put it down and you think about it and you focus on what you really want and how it's going to feel when you get there and what it's going to be like, it's going to happen. But you've got to make sure that it's in line with your basic values and how you think. Because if it doesn't happen. And if you're off in any way, and I'll admit I have been lately because I haven't been able to manifest shit lately. It's been a little funky, but I know how to get myself back on track. And by writing it down and putting it in front of me on a regular basis, I know it's all going to happen again. So that's what I wanted to start out with today. And I'm just going to say abracadabra. And who wants to join in right after that?
I'll go.
Okay.
So all week I said I was going to manifest something. And I will admit to being a wee bit distracted this week, as I believe we all were. Mm-hmm. And again, you all know why. We're not going to get into that. However, I had this one thing, which was 5 sales in my business. I was like, I can do that. I'm going to have it. Okay. But then I just kept having this other thing pop into my head. I kept thinking about books. Books all the time. I kept going on to Amazon and looking at books like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to read next. Ooh, what don't I have yet that I want to read? That kind of stuff. I didn't buy anything. I just kept thinking about it. Look what came in the mail today. A book.
All right.
Because I won a book about a month ago commenting on a blog on our daily shortcuts. And, the thing is I did not write the comment with the aim to win. I wrote the comment from my heart, and it was somebody on the team who was like, did you read today's email? Because I think you won a book. I had no clue. And then I didn't think anything else about it. And weeks went by and nothing happened, and I didn't get the book. And I was like, all right, they must be shipping them out, like bulk. They do, 2 weeks at a time or something. Because they run these contests every day. I didn't really think about it. But all this week I've been thinking about books. And today I got a book. And I actually just checked my email and I just made a sale. So.
Hey, things are turning around. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can manifest things, and some just take a while to happen. I mean, Not everything happens right away. I mean, you could have some, some goal out there that may take a while, but other things may happen quicker because you're more focused on it.
So I just thought that was very funny because I was actually on my phone to pull up the book where we get all this from, E Squared, to just get on the page for next week, because I haven't read the next chapter yet, so that we could, at the end announce what we're talking about. And then I saw the email and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So just from being on this hangout, my energy has totally changed. How about
it's that? The company.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're all magicians in our lives because, just like a magician can pull a scarf through a hole in nowhere. We can grab a hold of whatever and decide that we want it, focus on it, and pull it all the way through.
That's right.
And you just happen to pull that book out of thin air.
I did. And, my husband is home today because he gets Veterans Day off. And then they also have a day off every other week They have
Okay,
extra
explain why he's off today because of Veterans Day.
I'm about to do that.
Okay.
All right, so Veterans Day is tomorrow, but because he works on a government installation, they have what they call off Friday. So they work longer hours, and every other Friday they're off. So tomorrow is their off Friday already. It's scheduled. And so the facility is closed today and tomorrow because it's off Friday and Veterans Day. So they have 2 days instead of 1. So anyway, that's why he's home for Veterans Day. Not to mention he is also a veteran. So thank you, honey, for your service.
Yes, thank him for us too.
I will. He's outside taking care of the leaves.
That's good. Good to see you got him working.
Like, whew, all at once. But anyway, he got the mail and he's like, I think you got a book. And I said, I haven't bought a book.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there it was. So I was very excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
How about you, Kate?
Yeah, I love that story, and that looks like a really cool book from the title.
Yeah.
Be interested to hear what you think about it when you get into it.
Yeah, The Secret Code of Success by Noah St. John. Or if you're English, they probably say St. John, but I don't know if he's English or not.
And then it says what? 7 methods?
7 hidden steps to more wealth and happiness.
Oh.
So I would like to know what those hidden steps are. So I'll be starting this immediately.
Nice.
That could be 7 shows for us.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'm excited. I'm very excited about it.
That's
Because I
good.
couldn't even remember what post I commented on and what book I might be winning. So it was a complete surprise.
Surprises are good, especially when it's something like that.
Yeah.
You know, over the years, I guess, I've created things, and some purposefully and then some not purposefully, because it can work on the flip side, I think, too, that we can create negative things to happen as well if we're, you know, in a more negative place, and then bad things start to happen. So I'm really conscious about my thinking and my speaking these days, because of everything that I've learned about the mind and our thoughts, you know, are real things, and that they affect our emotions, that whole stuff of body and mind. I studied that, and I have since I was a counselor. So I meditate, and in my meditating, I often, especially if I'm feeling a little lost, I will ask, you know, what direction do you want me to go in, whatever great pumpkin is out there, you know? What should I be doing, and how can I best serve, that kind of stuff. That's what goes on in my mind when I start meditating. And so I kept getting this theme. I was talking about this on our Monday mastermind call that we had in the morning. And this theme just kept coming back to me around trust and truth and living your truth, and came for 6 months, and I was pushing it away. I don't want to talk about that. That's not sexy and exciting, you know. Give me something good. And then finally, this one day, I was like, all right, whatever you are, you're telling me to go in that direction. So I started doing some research around trust, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a book about this, because as I found, it's really deep, and I think a lot of people need this information. So finally, my point in saying all that, Ray, was that I finally recognized I was getting what I was asking for. I was manifesting this thought to come into my life. And even though I kept pushing it away, it kept coming back. So my universe, higher power, whatever, great pumpkin, like I said, wasn't giving up on me, even though I was giving up on it. And I guess we don't always get the package or the book that we expect. We don't always get the answer we expect, but damn it, sometimes you better pay attention to that answer. So I started to pay attention to it. And that woman who had been on our call the week before, she said, you know, call yourself the New York Times best-selling author or something to that effect. So I've tried to live that too, so I can get in that state of feeling like I'm a writer. I'm legit, you know?
What you need to do is go to the bookstore, just sit down at a table and tell people you're going to sign the books.
Oh, whose name's on that one, by the way?
Yeah.
Well, Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, when he would write a book, prior to writing his book, he would actually draw something out. He would send it to some people who did graphics for him, and they would make the book cover for him first. And then he would have that on his table. He'd stare at that all the time. So he had the book cover to the book long before he really, I mean, he knew sort of what he was writing about. But that got him creating it from there. So it goes back to what we were saying about manifesting. That
Right.
we create what we want first, and then it starts to happen for us.
Yeah. But here's the dichotomy of the whole thing. As much as we can say we want something, our subconscious can stop it.
Yes.
Because,
that's what mine was doing all that time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like I said earlier, the universe and God, whoever, will always say yes. Yeah. But I'm going to use the example. Let's say you want to buy a house. And you set that intention. I'm going to get myself a new house. But at the same time, somewhere in your mind there, it's that fear of a higher mortgage payment that you start fretting about, interest rates and worrying about, the termite contract and all these things that you're going to have to go through that can put a damper on it. Because you know what you want, but all of a sudden you're getting all these negative thoughts about what you don't want. And it puts a battle in your head, and you're even though you have these great intentions, you guess which one's going to win. It's not really the one that you want.
Well, and that's why the universe didn't meet my deadline. My deadline was Tuesday. But clearly Tuesday was a little bit of a distracting day.
Yes.
And so then I was thinking, well, shoot, I've got to get on this hangout, and I've got to manifest something. Because I didn't manifest last week either. So, what's my excuse? I mean, the pressure was on. But,
and that could be the reason. The pressure is on. You're just putting too much pressure on yourself.
Well, but if it weren't for the last minute, nothing would get done. And the universe has just proven that.
Yeah. But, the dynamic of opposing intentions, definitely causes the, confusion and doubt. Mm-hmm. And, you can become open to a new perception and desires and simultaneously experience fear and anguish as you set up in a struggle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to be able to watch it. And, that's the unfortunate thing, because as much as we think we may be positive, and I can relate this back to being depressed at times, where I thought I was fine, but people around me thought, differently. That there was something wrong, but I didn't notice it. And I thought everything was fine. And you think that you're fine, you're putting out the right intention, but you're not getting back what you want because something else is in the way.
Yeah, that's a great thing that you said, because I've heard this said, and it makes it clear for me that we're either coming from a place of fear, which is that lower level energy, lower vibration, or we're coming from a place of faith. And if we set an intention for something and we don't have faith that it's going to happen, remember I told you last week or the week before that I said I was going to make $3,000 or $5,000 going to appear in my bank, just like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the faith that it would. I didn't have the faith that it would. So I had that doubt right from the get-go, and then for the 48 hours, I would say it, $5,000 is coming into my bank account. Because at first I did the 3 and it didn't happen. So I said, I'm going to up it to 5 next time. And most people would down it to maybe 1, but I upped it to 5. And I just had that doubt. So when I was thinking the thought, it was just, I kept saying, no, I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times
Didn't
doubt doesn't even pop up. It just, it's just there because you haven't done it before. And that's one of the things you got to keep in mind, because if you actually feel it, that it's happening and that it's happened already and that you've reaped the benefits of what you wanted, it puts you in that higher vibration.
Exactly.
Just like I pointed out the other day in a video, we're just like a battery. The top part of a battery is positive. Got one right here. There's a little plus on top. Now that fell. All right, I'll let it stay on the floor. But the top part of the battery is your head, where it should be positive. And down at the bottom is negative, where you should be stomping out the negatives with your feet. So that if you keep that vibration going, you keep the energy, you're going to stay positive. And sometimes you may drop down, but you can recharge yourself through various methods and bring that positivity back up to the head and stay charged.
What kinds of things do you do to get positive again? I know what I do, but what do you do?
I sing. I put on music. I'll do some subliminal binaurals online. I'll get
What is that? Some people don't know what that is.
All right. Subliminal binaurals subliminals are basically just music or sounds that have subliminal messages in there that your subconscious can hear. Binaurals are sounds or music or whatever
Or a beat.
Or a beat that are just off by a little bit on each side. You have to wear headphones to get this down. And what it does is it causes your brain to react, to connect the two. So it may be off a little bit on one side and then the other, but your brain, because of these sounds, will connect the two sides together so it forms a normal pattern. And this helps you get, clearer on things.
Exercises your brain chemistry. Really.
Right.
It's like, a lot of people don't pay attention
It's
to their
resistance
mind.
exercises for your brain. That's basically it.
Yeah. And we meet people all the time who don't pay attention to their mind. They'll work out, they'll go to the gym, they'll do all kinds of stuff, but not paying attention to our mind. And really, that's what we talk about so much here, which is why I love this, what we do, because we are talking about them. Your mind is really the power that runs everything else. Everything else. And if you're in that negative, and that negative is upside down, you're in trouble. And we all get there, right? None of us are perfect in this. There are times when we're negative, and that thing that happened yesterday, some of us were in a little more negative place than others. Actually, it was 2 days ago. Feels like yesterday. So it's taken conscious effort to come back to the positive. That's why I asked you, what kinds of things do you do? I know being on Hangouts like this is good for me. I'm hoping other people gain from it, but it's good for us too.
Well, yesterday, just in the chat alone, we were able to, communicate with each other in a positive manner about the way we were feeling. And when you have people around you that have that, same energy and, the same thoughts, it's like Napoleon Hill points out in Think and Grow Rich, the power of the mastermind. Mm-hmm. Your body, your brain puts out waves that connect with the other people. And as long as you got 2 or more people together in a group, the more the merrier, of course, but that's why our founding fathers did so well. They had all these great minds together that collaborated in one room, because that's all we had at the time, basically, and they've come up with these documents that have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And some of those minds in there were great minds that we still talk about today. Others, not so much, but it all worked out together.
Yeah, and we've learned that by the power of us connecting and talking and creating things. Our founder of our company, David, talks about this all the time, and that vision that he got walking in Costa Rica that day, that his vision was, as he felt, big enough to fit all kinds of other people's visions into it. But the power of working together and I don't want to say necessarily leaning on each other, but maybe it is in a way. But we spur each other on. And when we do our Monday night call, we say it a lot, that the community is priceless, because it really is. It really is. Our family doesn't always give us this stuff back. Our friends locally may not give that same energy, That is powerful when you talk about a mastermind or a reading group or something like that, you know.
Yeah, or just, just having, the entire community get together like we do on certain occasions, where everybody is focused in on the vision of where we're all going to go.
The
Because
bigger vision,
within our community, it's not like corporate America, where people are trying to climb over everybody to get to the top. I mean, it's like the crabs in the bucket. Right. They're always trying to pull you back down because they don't want anybody to succeed. In our business, it's the opposite. The people that have come before us and had success want us to achieve the same, so they're pulling us up with them.
Yeah.
Just as we do with the people that we talk to.
And the great lesson that I have learned being in this industry now is you give of yourself first and help people, and then it comes back to you.
Yeah, it's called being a servant leader.
Yes. And that is a hard transition, I think, from corporate America to online. And not all groups are like this, to be fair. I mean, we happen to have, I think, something special in our group. And
yes,
it's
us.
Like, besides us. I mean, of course, us. Come on. But, it is something that we teach to others, and we learn from example because we have mentors. Each of us have mentors who have led the way. They do the same thing. So they give of themselves to help us, which teaches us to give of ourselves to help others. So it's a never-ending cycle of good karma.
Yeah, because like I think it was Zig Ziglar said, help enough people get what they want and you'll get whatever you want.
Yes.
And, that's, what we live by. And just,
and that's powerful.
Yeah.
It is powerful.
And I just want to clarify, for those that don't know, I mean, Kate alluded to it several times, we do another show called Profit from Your Passion Online, Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ever want to catch that one, it's profitfromyourpassion.com, which you can go to, or we usually post it on our sites that has our direct links on it also. So you can watch out for that. In addition to doing this Midday Passion show, we have another one. And then for those of you that are techie and get involved with the business, Diane and I do another show called
Well, it is the less techie we're helping, to be honest.
Huh?
It's
what was
the
that?
less techie.
Yeah, the less techie you are. Yeah, I mean, if you're a newbie, you want to catch our show on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called Tilt Tech Talk, and you'll see that, all over our sites, when we're promoting it. So that's, that's our part of doing what we can to help other people move along.
Yeah.
Because we've been there, we've done that, we've been trained, we've gone through boot camps, we've gone through private mentoring sessions, we've been to the events. We know what you need to go through. And, finding a good mentor is like I talked about in my video today, if any of you caught it. It's like, the person that goes through the 4-foot snow drifts that you can walk in their footsteps to make it easier for you. They've led the way. Mm-hmm. They've showed you the way to the mountaintop, and now you can get there in a lot quicker manner than if you had to do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where, that's where a lot of good positive vibrations come from also.
That's
is
right.
when you got somebody that's giving, you're going to follow them more with more, more strength and, believability in them that they're going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, you'll have more faith in that, in them.
Yeah, and faith plays a big deal in it.
Yeah, and I think that's a big difference. Like Diana was saying, there's other companies out there, and they don't have that same belief that if we give something of value out to the world, then only good stuff will come back. I mean, I've always said this. When I was a counselor, I used to say this to people all the time. When you're feeling low, when you're feeling down and like a piece of shit, because it happens to all of us.
Yep.
That's a time when you reach out and you reach out to help somebody else. I don't always do it perfectly or right away, but I know that when I do, that it makes me feel better. I'm not so low then, and that energy you start picking up, and you get into that higher vibration of life. You actually create that energy, and those chemicals start releasing in your brain, and all of a sudden, you know, you're not feeling so bad anymore because you helped out somebody else.
Right, because you got to get out of that rut, you know, because, you know, we fall into those habitual patterns sometimes. And, you know, it's said that you have 60,000 daily thoughts. And, you know, but you know, maybe 1,000 of them, those are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. And that, you know, a lot of them just keep repeating. And the ones that are the downside that keep repeating just cause you to stay where you are and not to, you know, to accelerate your growth and expand your opportunities. So you've got to be very cognizant of that also. And talking through these groups that we have and the masterminds, you get to express that and hear how other people have conquered that also. And that's
that chatter. I've heard it said, I don't know if you've heard this too, Ray or Diana, but like, I don't know if it was William Wood maybe one time had said that a goal is to get less thoughts through your day. So if you're thinking normally 60,000 thoughts during the course of a day, to get that down to like 20,000, that's a good thing. And like geniuses have like 2,000 thoughts a day because they don't allow that monkey chatter to get out of control, you know, and that self-talk that, you know, you can't do this, or you're not worth it, or you're not good enough, or who are you to think you can, and what, you're going to make $1 million a year? Who are you to think you can make $1 million? And all that stuff that goes around in our heads. To reduce that chatter, it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge, I think.
Before we get too far afield, Mary Beth had a question about the subliminal messages.
Okay.
She said, what are the subliminal messages? So what are you using, Ray?
Well, I just use, I go to YouTube and I find them on there. And they have them specific for different things. I mean, if you have a self-esteem problem, they have one. Now, some of them some of them they do that you hear, that you can sleep with. And, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, somebody saying, you know, I am strong, I am powerful, I am loving, I am in balance, I am healthy, I am happy, I am perfect, I am confident, I am wealthy. You know, things like that that you can hear, but other ones that you don't hear, you're just enjoying the music and those same thoughts are going in to your head. It doesn't happen overnight that you make a change. They say you got to do it for, you know, 30 days or more sometimes. And some of them, you know, they last all night. I mean, they got 8-hour ones that I've used. They've got, you know, 10, 15-minute ones you can, you know, do over and over. But, you know, just investigate it. Look on YouTube and just look up subliminal, you know, if you have a certain area that you want to, you know, conquer, put that in also with the word subliminal, and it'll bring up different videos that you can listen to and, you know, get the experience. But that was a good question, Mary Beth. Thank you. It's always good to have you around.
Yeah. There is a guy who does a good one. I'm trying to look it up now for you, Mary Beth. I can't think of his name, but I know I have liked his stuff in the past. So I'll look it up and see if I can come up with it while we're on here.
Okay, good. Thanks, Kate.
My dog's going crazy, but John Azareth has a lot of stuff. He has a whole program called NeuroGym. NeuroGym.
Yes.
And it's a lot of subliminal messaging. I don't know if he has stuff on YouTube, but he's one of the leaders in the field for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've sat through his weekend brain fest that they've had a couple of times where he has different speakers on. And that's always good stuff.
Yeah, here's the guy I was trying to come up with. His name is Paul Santisi. It's S.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, A-N-T-I-S-I. Santisi. S-A-N-T-I-S-I. Paul. He's got some fantastic stuff, and most of it is free. I'm sure, you know, you could go down a rabbit hole with him and have to buy some stuff, but 90% of his stuff is free. Really good. His stuff helped me get out of a rut a couple of years ago. So check that out if you want.
There we have it, a true testimonial that it works.
Yep.
Which is always good to have. I mean, sometimes, people think, and we always say, a lot of this stuff to a lot of people is, woo, it's a little bit out there that they don't, really get a grasp of, how important it is and how much it does play a factor in their lives because they just never realized it before.
Well, and here's the thing, okay, yes, it might be woo-woo, and you know how I feel about all that stuff anyway. But
Yeah,
have you ever,
as we go on here, you're getting more woo-woo.
I am getting more woo-woo. But have you ever, and we all have, I know we have, you've met someone who is completely at peace with themselves?
Mm-hmm.
It's the woo-woo stuff that does that.
Yes.
When you talk to them, they are so centered and calm and at peace, and it comes across as confidence and happiness and direction and focus. We've all met people like that. This is how they do it.
Yes, you're right.
So,
and that's why that's why I was asking Ray the things that he does to bring him up to those higher vibrational levels, because I know you each, and I do too, we have different techniques that we utilize, and if anybody can gain something from hearing some of the things we do, because nobody 24/7 is going to be in that space unless they're, what do they call those guys? Monks. That's what they worked on for 30 years to be in that
medicated.
Space. Or what?
Or medicated.
Or medicated, right. I don't want to go do that again in my life. I've done that before.
No, I meant legally.
But in this book, E Squared, she did talk about how some specific monks have manifested automobiles. So I guess it's possible if you're at such a level that you can manifest and create whatever it is you want. And that's the power of thought. That's incredible to me that somebody can actually manifest it.
You know what's funny is one of my dreams to do with the kids and the dog and the husband is to take an RV and do like the ultimate road trip. I'm not sure if everyone in the house feels the same as I do, but this is my vision. Well, I've shared that with the kids, and they're, they kind of think that's a cool idea. And I'm thinking in the next couple of years, because they're getting to an age where in a few years, that's not going to be quite as much fun for them.
Right.
Well, my little guy, right after we talked about it, he's 8. For about 2 weeks afterward, everywhere we went, we saw RVs. Everywhere. To the point where he was starting to count them. So we would go to a soccer game, and he was like, Mom, I saw 15 RVs on the way to the soccer game.
Wow.
And I said, well, honey, that's because you're manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
So now whenever he sees an RV, he's like, I manifested that.
Okay.
It's true, though, isn't it?
Means, but
it's so true. See what your kids are learning at such a young age? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That really is.
But there again, there's a positive influence going to them from Diana, where we've got to be careful of who we surround ourselves with, because there's too many people out there in a rut that are putting out negative energy. And I mean, especially in the workplace, how many people you ever see walk into a job that are smiling, their head up, they got a brisk walk, as opposed to those that are going in with their head down, shuffling their feet, looking like, death warmed over.
Yep.
Most.
I mean, because they say 85% of people hate their jobs.
That's a shame.
And excuse me.
Well,
that's a shame.
Yeah. Even if you love your job, isn't it so much nicer to work with the person who loves their job than it is to work with the person who hates their job? I mean, quite a few years ago, I worked for an engineering firm. I did their marketing. And my boss, who is now the senior partner of the firm, and at the time he was just starting on that path, loved it. He loved everything. He lived and breathed for that job. And you could see it in his face. He loved working with people. He was not the best engineer in the firm. He never pretended to be, but he hired good people and he led them. And I really admired him for that. I mean, to this day, really, really admire the vision he had for the company, his own vision within an established company. And he changed the direction of that company, basically. It was an old school firm that was, quite frankly, dying a slow death. You know, it was very old fashioned. Very few women worked there. It was kind of off in a not so great neighborhood that was past its heyday. Because they had been there so long, the whole neighborhood had shifted. And he changed all of that with his vision. Because he sold everyone else in the firm on his vision.
Yeah.
He was a joy to work for. He really was.
Those are the kind of employers want to find.
I never worked for anyone else except for myself, honestly. That's what he inspired in people.
Well, it's just like people that go out and, you know, just do what they do because they love it and do it for so long that they then become what is known as an overnight success. I mean, you know, I'll just use the Beatles as an example. They played so many hours in the Cavern and so many of the other clubs. I mean, they'd start at 8 in the morning and not get done until 2 the next morning on some days. But they honed their craft so well that when they finally made it, they made it so big, and they were that good. I don't know if anybody saw 8 Days a Week, the documentary that Ron Howard did, but they were excellent in concert. I mean, you couldn't hear them, but they were good when they played live because they had done it so often and for so long. And, you know, it's just like anything else. I mean, if you just go out and you practice doing something over and over and over, and you learn all the ways to do it, you're going to be the best.
Mastery.
Yes. And they say it takes 10,000 hours. And so many people don't do that with their minds to keep that vibration level up there. Because, you know, look at it. How many people go walking around undiagnosed with mental illness? We have no idea the numbers.
Lots.
I mean, it's astronomical. But the ones that do find out and do take care of themselves end up being a better part of society than the ones that don't. Because they have a reason why, and they got the help so that, you know, they know what they're talking about. I mean, the outcomes, you know, are what you make of it. And, you know, when you want something bad enough, you'll go out and do it. Whether it means that, you know, you've got to go to rehab, or you've got to go, you know, study more, or you've got to go wherever. As long as you get it taken care of, you'll move forward. It's the people that don't go anywhere, that are blocked because of whatever programming they had earlier on in their lives.
Well, when you think about it in regards to our business and the online marketing in general, you know, when I first got in, I thought I had to know everything, and every bit of training and every product that I ever bought, I would meticulously go through everything, you know, 2 or 3 times with some of our products, maybe more, some of them. And I was the jack of all the different approaches in the online world that we had at our fingertips, but I mastered none. And as long as I was mastering none, I wasn't going to make any money. And just until recently, as a matter of fact, our own message within Empower has been that take one technique and master it. I didn't get that message 3 years ago when I joined. I thought I just had to know everything. And, you know, there's good in that when somebody joins me, I can kind of show them everything, but I don't want to show them everything, actually. So to know a little bit about a lot, I guess, is good, like in life, but to really master one thing until you are so good at it and you're making tons of money, then you can go on and master the next.
Well, it's, yeah, like you said, I mean, knowing a lot and being the master of nothing is not going to get you anywhere.
No.
And where we're at in this business, I mean, people are looking for people they can follow, that know something that they don't. I mean, I don't care if somebody gets in the business today and so, they find somebody tomorrow that's also getting in. They already know more because they've been in a day already. They've got the advantage because they've learned something that the other person doesn't know, and they can go out and show them and bring them into them because of the vibrations that they have, that they know something that the other person doesn't, that they want to transfer that to. I mean, it just goes it's so many different places where you can keep going into this. I mean, even when it comes down to prayer, I mean, it's not that we're bribing God or the higher power in any way. But so many people just get in there and they go, I want this, I want this, I want this, I've been good, I want this. And it doesn't work out that way.
I've heard it said, and I'm not a big prayer, but I'm just got to tell you that right now. I would pray when I was in a jam. No, please, God, get me out of this, please. And then I'd forget about God till the next time I was in a jam. But I've evolved since my little bratty years and 20s. I heard that prayer is when you speak to your universe or whatever you call it, God, whatever you want to call it. And meditation is when you listen for your answers. So I try to ascribe to that today. I'm not the greatest at speaking, but I'm really good at listening. So maybe, thank you for bringing that up. Maybe I need to speak a little bit more because I listen a lot.
Well, and that's good because, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, if you go to a party and you just hang around a group of people for the night and you just listen and everybody had a good time, they're going to think that you did a lot of talking. That always happens. They say, God, you're such a great conversationalist, but all you did was listen most of the time. That other people were talking and they just felt good about it. That, they just remember you as part of the group, that you were a great conversationalist when you didn't say shit.
Right. Because people like to talk about themselves. So if you listen, and they loving you, and I've always been like that. That's why I was a counselor. I'm a good listener, but I'm not well, it might fool you on some of these hangouts, right? I talk a lot sometimes, but I'm not a huge talker often. I'm more listen than speak.
Right, but when you do speak and on these hangouts, is that it's stuff that you know about.
Right.
It's not like, you just make it up as you go. You know what you're talking about.
And I think
that's going to come out, and that's going to show with your confidence, your vibration to other people, and the like.
And I think, and I know we talked about this too, Diana and Ray, that we never talk and present things that we don't do ourselves. We're not BSers on here. So when you guys tune in and you watch us, you're hearing real stuff, real things that work. Like Ray talking about the binaural beats, or me talking about meditation. Diana saying she's getting a little more woo as time progresses because she's growing and evolving with her business and what she's doing. So we'll never put out to you anything that we haven't done or tried ourselves. I think that's a huge plus because there's so many people online, especially, who tout all kinds of stuff yet don't do it themselves. So then when you follow them and you don't have success, you wonder why. That's why. So you want to follow somebody whom you can trust. They're not talking out their butt, so to speak.
Well, and it's a process. It's not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
So we started talking about manifestation, but sometimes it takes a while. As Ray mentioned, you are not going to join something and in, I would say, 99% of the cases make $20,000 overnight.
Right.
The people who do that, what they're not telling you is they've already got years of experience under their belt.
Exactly.
They already know how to do it. This is not their first rodeo.
Right.
So, of course, they can post great results because they've done this before.
Yeah.
So when you start something new and you really want it to work, you have to be persistent. And it's not just focusing your thoughts on what you want, which you do need to work on and keep your energy high, but then you also have to take action, because what happens is the opportunities present themselves the more you persist. And the more you work on really honing in on whatever it is that you want. They don't magically appear because it's magic. They magically appear, seemingly, because you are always working towards them when you focus on those goals. So then opportunities present themselves to make it happen. You have to, because you are focused on that goal, you recognize, oh, I should do this. Oh, I should read that. Oh, I need to write this post. Oh, I need to be on this hangout. Those sorts of things start happening to you when you're focused on the goal. Because if you're not focused on the goal, those things will still possibly appear in your life, but you won't recognize them for the opportunity that they are.
Good point.
Very good point.
Yeah. And on that note, it's the top of the hour. It's now 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is going to wrap up our show today of Midday Passion. I want to thank Kate Saxton and Diana Gartland-Jones for joining us, and for you stopping in to see this. If you want, the replay will be up all the way till next Thursday, just about noon, that you can catch it, have your friends catch it, give it to let your family catch it. If something stuck out in your mind, you can go back and rewatch it. But we'll be back next Thursday, and we'll tell you about what's going to happen in 2 weeks, if we're going to have a Thanksgiving Day spectacular or not. We haven't decided that yet. So it could be, we're cooking turkeys on the air, or we're going to take the day off. Don't know yet, but we'll let you know next week. So join us next Thursday, 2 p.m.
For the Dear Abby principle next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Chapter
And we'll take
5.
it from there. All right, everybody have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.